In other words, once an evil report starts, it don't stop. Until everyone that is designed to kill, confuse, depress, stress out, take their eyes off of Yahweh's victory and the future and Yahweh's glory and all the things Yahweh has, until the job is done, it doesn't stop. It's like a cancer. And it started with you. And it started with me. Because we listened. You know, and sometimes we don't listen to our wives enough. Rivka has warned me many times, stop listening to that. Stop writing that. Stop talking to that person. Do I listen? No. So sometimes we need to listen more to our husbands and wives.
Amen.
Because they're there to pick up discernment on a lot of things.
Amen.
Can I hear a good amen?
Amen. Amen. Amen.
I got into a whole bunch of evil speaking and trash because I didn't listen to my wife. She told me to stop emailing a certain individual. Do you think I listened?
No.
I said, it's impolite. If I don't respond, it's impolite. I don't want to be impolite. I have enough problems. People think I'm mean as it is. She goes, you need to stop because it's going to get you in a lot of trouble. Well, guess who was right?
Rivka had it right. That's right. Yeah.
What do we do with these men?
I don't know.
What are we going to do with these men?
I don't know.
Beats the heck out of me.
I don't know.
Pray! Pray! Look at the end of verse 34.
Okay.
They strayed from me for 40 days, so they will be away from me for 40 years. In other words, an evil report causes people to stray from Yahweh.
Okay.
An evil report causes people to stray from Yahweh. You really want people straying from Yahweh because you're spreading and entertaining an evil report? You will stray from Yahweh and you will cause others to stray from Yahweh.
Right.
Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Verse 35. You don't want to cause other brothers and sisters to stray from Yahweh because you have entertained an evil report. And the nature of an evil report is you feel incumbent upon you that you have to share it. I got to tell somebody. This is serious. This is some real serious stuff going on. I can't keep it to myself. I've got to share it with somebody. Because this is not just minor league stuff. This is some serious stuff. That's what an evil report does. And then it causes you, your heart, to be away from Yahweh. And it causes others to stray from Yahweh. Can you imagine Yahweh, you getting to heaven one day and saying, okay, I'm sitting back ready for all my rewards. And Yahweh said, well, I'm not going to give you too many rewards. You had a lot lined up. But you know why you're not going to have too many? Because of all the evil reports you participated in, you caused a lot of people to stray away from Yahweh. Look at verse 35. I, Yahweh, have said I will surely do it to this entire evil congregation. Oh my goodness. Look at verse 35. Rivka, Yahweh calls the entire congregation evil. What? The entire congregation didn't do this. What did the entire congregation do, Chris?
Listen.
Only 2 participated in the evil report, Vladdy. Only 2. But what about the 3 million? They listened. And watch Yahweh's commentary. Verse 35. I will destroy the entire evil congregation who have gathered together against me. Yahweh again takes it personally for the 3rd time. In this wilderness they shall be consumed and they shall die. And the men whom Moshe sent to search the land who returned and made all the congregation to murmur against him by bringing up slander about the land. Notice. They slandered Yahweh, they slandered the leaders, they slandered Yahweh's goodness, and they slandered the land of their inheritance. You want to lose your inheritance? Begin to participate in gossip and slander and lashon hara, and you will lose your inheritance.
Amen. Amen.
Listen to this part.
And allowing it to come into a congregation, Yahweh will say, it used to be a spirit-filled congregation, now it's an evil congregation. How did that happen, Yahweh? How did that happen? Satan got his foot into the door. And pretty soon all the leaven started spreading. I had one rabbi tell me that if I came to visit his congregation, he was going to have security come after me. I said, really? I said, well, why? I thought we played golf together. We were friends. What happened? Now, you mean if I come to visit, I'm not going to come to teach doctrine. You may disagree with what we teach. I'm just going to come to worship Yahweh. He said, yeah, I'm going to have security. He said, you taught me how to do security. He said, you were the one who taught me to remove people who were troublemakers. So I'm going to remove you. I said, really? Well, what trouble am I causing? Right? He says, well, all this wife business, you know. Many wives, plural marriage, polygamy, all this nonsense. I said, and how did you mean you read my book? No. Well, how do you know what I teach? You're going to remove me and you're not going to let me worship Yahweh. You're going to stop me from worshiping Yahweh? You're going to be an obstacle for me coming into Yahweh and loving on Yahweh? I'm not there to teach. I don't want to teach. You already invited me to your congregation to teach, and I refused because I didn't want to teach. So you're going to get security to come in if I come in with my wife to work? Yeah. Why? Because of all that sex stuff you wrote.
Oh my.
So I said to the rabbi, I said, you mean you've read the book? No. Huh? I've read excerpts. Oh.
Excerpts.
And where did you see these excerpts? On some website. Do you know what Yahweh's enemies do? You know what people who don't like you do? They take a part of what you say, they cut it. Okay?
Slice it.
Like Dr. King. Dr. King says, when he wrote his letters from the Montgomery jail, he said, was not Jesus a radical for love? If that's what being radical is, then I'm radical. I'm extremist. Now, they could have cut that part, and Dr. King said, was not Jesus a radical? And they could have cut that right there. Now I'm a radical. But he didn't say Jesus was a radical, I'm a radical. He said, was not Jesus a radical for what? For love. So he read some excerpt on some website. And because he didn't get it from me, he never read the book himself, he didn't read the book and then come to me with questions, so right away I'm going to be taken into custody when I come into his congregation. And then he had the chutzpah to tell me, don't blame me, you taught me how to do security. Some of y'all should be, your mouth should be hanging right now. Could you imagine that? A rabbi that you trained and raised up in the ministry threatened to call security on you when you walk in? Am I such a threat, a little pipsqueak like me with a fat stomach? Am I such a threat to his congregation because I wrote a book?
Very interesting.
This is the kind of garbage. You want to be in the ministry? Come on board. Come on in. The water's fine.
Yeah, I see.
And this is not just a congregation. This is a congregation that I started, and I trained him for 5 years to be the leader. Now he's threatening to take me into custody because I wrote a book. Do you think that's Yahweh? Would Yahweh send you to hell because you wrote a book that was wrong? Do you think that's Yahweh's love? Do you think that's the way he treats his children? And did I write a book that was wrong? No. Was it a perfect book? No. And neither is your term paper that you got a B on in college. It wasn't right. It wasn't perfect either. It's not a reason to take somebody into custody who wants to come worship Yahweh. And poor Rivka wants to come there with her head covering. She has a brand new head covering. She wants to try out and show off her new head covering, and you won't even let her come in. You're gonna put her in handcuffs with the new head covering.
Right.
She bought that head covering. She wants to show off everybody her new head covering.
Okay. Throw the cuffs on.
So poor Rivka can't even wear her new head covering.
There you go. Okay.
It's amazing.
Ay, Gaval.
Really,
Yahweh help
right?
us. Yahweh help us.
Amazing.
Yahweh help
Yahweh
us.
help us.
Yahweh help us.
I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward to reward, not based on ministry, books, Bibles, winning souls, discipling people, bringing them into. No. I gotta be honest. I'm just looking for some reward when I get to heaven. And you'll forgive my French. Putting up with the crap. That's a specific reward that I'm looking for. Even though it doesn't exist. Putting up with the
Pooper scooper.
So evil reports slander Yahweh and his people, or his people. Even those men that did bring up the evil report from the land, notice, died by the plague before Yahweh. Even those men. Verse 37. Look at verse 37. Look at verse 37. The 10 men who brought the evil report. The 3 million listeners and the 10 deliverers. I'll say that again. The 3 million listeners with the 10 deliverers, the whole congregation had become evil. They all